Overwatch. So much information coming out of BlizzCon 2015 about our newest entree into the Blizzard world. Tons of people getting their hands on the new characters and new maps just yesterday and today for the first time. Welcome back, everybody, to BlizzCon 2015. We just got a ton of information about the world of Overwatch. Dude, this game cuts deep story-wise.
Yeah, it does. I love how much out-of-game lore that they're doing, too.
Oh, yeah.
How many things that they're doing to explore the story outside of it through comics and shorts. This is so cool.
Speaking of shorts, those animated shorts look amazing.
There was little baby Winston?
Yeah, little baby Winston was
here. And it's not even done yet.
They look like Pixar pictures, you know?
Oh, they're incredible.
I think a lot of games fail at expanding on their story outside, but it looks like Blizzard has a good plan in place to do this right.
And they always have, even from the Warcraft novels and everything, they've always done such a great job at it. One of the other things that came out of that panel that I was really stoked about was the fact that each one of these maps has such a huge personality to it.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them has a big story about how the Omnic all sort of overthrew and how each society, how to try to plan how to recover from it.
Right. And you know what? The posters.
Yeah.
Because that stuff was right in front of our face the entire time.
That diva was literally in Hanamura the whole time. I was like, oh my god. Now I don't know if I need to be, when I'm running for my life, I'm going to be looking at the walls.
Yeah, right.
And not because I'm bad at the game.
I hear that. And yesterday I was asking Mike Morheim about like the arcade cabinets and stuff. I'm going to pay attention to every detail because I feel like there's a little bit of a secret.
Some Easter eggs in there.
There's some Easter eggs in there.
Dude, Roadhog was on the newspaper in Kings Road that were literally blowing through the screen. It's crazy.
So good.
So Malik, I heard you had a chance to stop by the NVIDIA booth yesterday and chat with NVIDIA while you were running around on the floor.
Yeah, buddy. I spoke with NVIDIA Senior VP Tony Tomasi and asked him how they are staying on the cutting edge of computer technology.
Yeah, so NVIDIA, we make the kind of the core graphic technology that's driving pretty much all the interesting things going on at BlizzCon. In fact, all of the machines that all the gamers are playing on are powered by NVIDIA graphics with GeForce. What you see behind us is a big rig we built that drives, in fact, 3 4K displays, so that's 25 million pixels, which is probably a little bit excessive, but hey, we can do it, so why not?
One of my favorite features about NVIDIA and you guys' graphics cards is G-Sync. Could you tell the people a little bit about that?
Yeah, so G-Sync was really invented to solve the constant trade-off of stutter, either like low frame rate, kind of hitching and stutter, or you could turn off the V-Sync and then you get the tearing, those horizontal tears. So what G-Sync does is it puts the graphics card in charge of the monitor as opposed to the other way around, so you get perfectly smooth gaming almost regardless of what frame you're at, which lets you turn all the cool features on, gets buttery smooth gameplay, and get all the great shadows and anti-aliasing that people are looking for.
What graphics card would you recommend, what GeForce graphics card would you recommend for someone who's making their first rig? They're building their first rig and they just need a graphics card to get them started.
Yeah, so my personal favorite for the kind of best bang for the buck is the GTX 970. It's about $300. It'll let you play pretty much everything Blizzard makes with all the features turned on at HD resolutions. It's kind of the best combination of price and performance, and it has all the great GeForce goodness.
Dude, that sounds awesome. Well, thank you very much, Tony, for your time, man.
Oh my God, I'm such an NVIDIA fan. You know how you get on one camp or the other? I've been NVIDIA my entire gaming life, and I have to say I didn't know about the G-Sync.
Yeah.
Because I'm always that guy who's like, do I turn the V-Sync on? Do I turn it off? People are always like, I'm like, oh, I'm getting weird tear, and they're like, turn it on, and I'm like, it is on. Turn it off. Okay, it is off. Turn it on, and it's like. Thankfully, G-Sync's going to just take care of that because I don't want to have to think about it.
I run mine with 2 Titan Blacks, and it is
wow.
Baller up here.
Think of Overwatch on the right graphics card.
Oh, hell yeah.
Those colors will pop like a club on Friday night, man. Graphics card.
Oh, my God. Well, look, don't forget the virtual ticket gives you 2 weeks to go back and catch up of all the BlizzCon content you may have missed, including the Legacy of the Void celebration, which just finished up in the arena.
That's true. I'm so bummed that we actually missed it.
I know!
But guys, now we're going to check in with the StarCraft 2 team, the creative team, to talk about some of the improvements that they've made to the arcade interface. So here's a look at the future of modding coming soon to Legacy of the Void.
So custom games, modding has been a big part of really our RTS landscape for a long time, but StarCraft, the original StarCraft, I think brought it to the forefront.
The map-making community was already something that was huge and really important to our players, and we wanted to make a place that was dedicated to them.
With StarCraft 2, we've tried our best to create our version of modding, the best version yet.
And so that's what eventually ended up becoming Arcade.
The arcade interface for Legacy of the Void is getting a revamp, and at launch we'll have a nice new layout and I think just a cleaner experience getting into Arcade.
We're super passionate about this universe and the games that we can create inside of it, but honestly the universe is so much bigger than what we're actually able to make. And Arcade is like this sort of primordial soup of raw, sometimes really out there ideas, and people aren't afraid to just put it out there. It's whatever they thought of, and they have the freedom to do that. And you start to see what I think is the formation of new genres that we see down the road. So we started Rock the Cabinet contest with the goal of giving back to the maker community and kind of doing something that really helps them focus on making new, highly polished content and rewards them for all of their effort.
And it's amazing to see how quickly content creators are able to put together very unique gameplay using the tools with StarCraft.
And one of the most important things about it is at the end, when we go through judging, it's actually our players that narrow down the field of the game, of the entrance, to the things that they find most exciting. The players are all about the content. They want to see something new and fresh, and if we can kind of stimulate that and say, okay, right here and now, you're going to have the best content makers in the community are all going to be dropping new stuff on you at the end of this contest, that's awesome for the players.
It came to our attention that there was a modder out there who had created a very good overlay for the professional esports scene of StarCraft. And so we reached out to this person who was Ryan Shooter and started working with him on a contract basis to create an official esports overlay for StarCraft 2.
It tackled a topic that no other mods were really doing at the time. My main thought was that when I was watching StarCraft events, I just felt that the presentation of the game just could be better. It wasn't designed for people to watch, it was designed for people to play.
He turned out to have so much talent that we wound up hiring him, and he's been a part of the StarCraft user interface team for Legacy of the Void throughout.
There's some amazing games and things that have already been created by the community, as well as content that gets created around StarCraft 2 specifically.
There are a number of just behind-the-scenes features to make it easier for content creators to make great content in Arcade.
We've been fortunate to be able to reach out to and talk to a lot of the people that are making games in Arcade over the years, and there really is no pigeonhole you could put them in.
As someone who's not a programmer, who's not an engineer, I can build a game.
And the combination of all that is something that we've always really loved.
That's what keeps me checking into Arcade every day, is looking at the newest published and what crazy thing that we haven't seen before, people trying out.
Being able to do that, to have that power is so exciting because if you have an idea, here you can do it.
Everybody, we are so happy to be joined on the #BlizzCouch by Jeff Kaplan, game director of Overwatch, and Bill Petras, art director of Overwatch. Guys, Overwatch, big BlizzCon for you guys this year. Have you been sleeping?
This is embarrassing to say. Last night I was so tired. I left halfway through the costume contest and then passed out at like 9:30 because the day was so intense.
I was going to say, that's actually not a bad idea because you had to do it all again today.
Yep.
You missed a ton of Overwatch cosplay. It was insane.
I know. I've been watching on the internet. That Winston, did you see that one?
Yeah, the Winston was fantastic.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, so for you guys, I mean, it's been so huge. You guys just came off an enormous panel, and hearing about each one of the maps, their origin stories, just how each one of them have such a character about the societies that had to fight against all of it. You did talk about a Hollywood map, and as people who live in Hollywood, where did the inspiration behind the Hollywood map come from?
Wow. Well, it's something that we're really excited about. I think each one of us has their own experience there. I could say the field trip to Hollywood was also really exciting.
You guys took a field trip?
We took a, yep, we went up there.
It's easier than Japan and London and other places.
We were allowed to go there. I think for us there's just that really big fantasy there, just that the creativity there. And it's also pretty close to where we are right now, too.
Yeah, it's not bad. Next time you guys come up, you let us know. But you know, and stuff like that, you know, when you film and stuff, you have to get rights to be able to use imagery like the Hollywood sign or the Man Chinese Theater and stuff. Did you guys have to go through that same process with game development?
Absolutely, we always do. We make sure everything is cleared legally.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I have to say, when I first got my hands on the beta, the maps, the epic scale of the map, like Volskaya Industries, I've played that map probably 30 times before I even noticed that there were giant robots. In the back. Like, how amazing is it? I mean, so talk through the concepts of like, okay, we're gonna go, let's do Russia, and then they go, well, okay, well then we should have giant, 70-story robots.
Yeah.
In the back.
That's right. I think one of the first thing the artists on the dev team, we were talking to Jeff, we're like, Jeff, we want to have a giant mech in the game. Let's do this. And I think for Volskaya, it was one of the chances that we got to actually have them in there, and it married to the story.
Yeah.
I mean, for us too, there's also the very practical sense of the Russian, the way they build technology. It's really robust.
Yeah.
And for us, having the mechs in there was like super key.
Yeah.
You're right, there's even more mechs being built on the side of the factory.
Crazy.
But for us, we got really excited also just about the Russia map just by itself, the relatability of Russia and the beauty of it as well.
Do you want to tell them about the Easter egg with one of the mechs?
Yes.
Yes, you should.
Yes.
Because I want to find it.
Do it, Jeff.
If you watch,
Okay.
it's very, very rare. Every once in a while, one of the mechs in the distance does a very special dance.
No.
All I'm going to say,
That is
it's up
true.
to the internet to discover it.
That is
there.
true.
Oh, I can't
Dance.
wait to see all the viral videos of that. Well, we do have some Twitter questions for you guys. Some people
Okay.
have been asking. So we have Theamix, I guess. They said, why did your team decide to give infinite ammo to heroes?
That's a great question, actually. Early on, we thought we were going to have an ammo system. In fact, we had one designed. We had the technology implemented for it. But everything about Overwatch is very simplistic, what we like to call simple and elegant design. So if it's not absolutely necessary, don't go there.
Right.
Yeah.
And we felt like we definitely needed the cadence of reloading and that time to introduce breaks for counterplay and that sort of thing. But ammo was just something that every time we would try to tune it, people would either say, there's so much ammo, why do you even have it in the game? Or the constant complaint was, I'm out of ammo. And then we had to design all these elements for you, like things for you to do when you didn't have ammo. And then we kind of had this one realization of, what got us so far was this simple design thought, what happens if we just get rid of it and go with infinite ammo, and it's been great.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, even in World of Warcraft, I'm a hunter, and I remember when we got rid of having to carry arrows around, you know, and that just sort of takes away a small little bit of something that you have to think about, and instead focus on the gameplay.
Yep, exactly.
I can imagine like Torbjorn's armor thing might have very well been an ammo dump, try to scatter ammo for your team. But it is very nice, the simplicity of the game. And that's one of the things that I find the most interesting about it is that as an FPS player, I mean, I've played a lot of different FPSs, it's so easy to get into this game even if you're not 100% an FPS person.
Yeah.
Is that a conscious choice of being like, we're going to nail FPS, but we're also going to make it accessible, which is hard in Twitch-based FPS stuff?
We talked a lot about that at the last BlizzCon when we announced the game, that we did want it to be super approachable. And if you look at the design of some of the heroes, we're actually trying to speak to a very wide FPS audience. So you've got Farah, who I think, old school Quake players, Unreal players, Tribes players, they instantly have this bond with her. There's Widowmaker, who speaks to a lot of Call of Duty players, Counter-Strike players.
Totally.
And then you've got somebody like Soldier 76, who really is up the alley for a lot of people coming from the Call of Duty community.
Absolutely.
So we try to have some common ground in our heroes, and that allows us to then explore with a totally random one like a Mei or a Zarya, who's just kind of out there.
Yeah, and by the way, we got our hands on all three of the new heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
We both love Eva.
My brain broke.
Yeah.
So much fun. And
It's a lot of fun.
I love that ability where she's super, super, super tanky, until she explodes, and then she's really, really, really not tanky, but only for a short period of time if you're smart.
Yeah.
Genius.
What game was she a pro gamer in?
Ooh, good question.
Wow.
What do you think? I
Great
joked
question.
yesterday, like StarCraft 6, it starts to get really meta at this point.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's StarCraft, which is in the future, and Overwatch in the future. And
Yeah.
I don't know. StarCraft 6, maybe.
Probably. There's some discussion, but I don't think we actually have an exact set of games.
Well, I can't wait to find out
Yeah.
exactly.
That's no announcement either.
Yeah. No
So
announcement.
you're announcing StarCraft 6 today.
Right here on the couch.
Fantastic, man. History being made.
We do have another Twitter question for you guys. This one comes from Rosie Brent. She says, you guys are already doing a series of animated shorts. How about a cartoon series for Overwatch? Please, she asks.
Interesting.
Bill?
Wow. A part 2 of the movie, or what was the?
I think a comic cartoon
She's asking about a
series,
cartoon, like animated series.
Saturday morning.
So, we just came off the panel 2 right now where Jeff Chamberlain was talking about the animated shorts.
Yep.
And right now it's still a little too early to really talk about what's in the future. I know that group is really busy working with the dev team and the creative team to really work on just different ideas. It's a little too early to tell just yet.
Yeah, no, that would make total sense.
So let me ask you, when it comes to creating new characters, do you come at it from a mechanical standpoint, like we need a chick and a mech? Or like, wouldn't that be great if there was a chick and a mech? Or do you come at it more for
I like him
from a
imagining it's a
story?
chick.
I mean, yeah, a little,
Like a
little
tiny little
peep,
chicken.
a little chicken. Bastion's
gotta write that
bird
one
in a
down.
mech. That'd be amazing. Or do you come at it more with the world story and the overall story of saying, like, we need a character who will fill this role in the story, and then back into what that person's mechanics will be?
It can be very organic, right?
Yeah.
It could be a drawing from a concept artist that we see. It could be something that someone's just talking about. It could even be something very specific, like if the designers have a really specific idea, it could come from that too. But overall, it's really organic. I think some ideas come really quick, and some ideas could go on a while. There could be a lot of iteration.
Yeah.
So I would say it's very organic at the base, how the heroes are actually created.
Yeah, like May came from a desire to have a Frost character, someone we could play around with geometry.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a bunch of ice abilities, where Genji was just an amazing picture from Arnold Sang. It was like this gorgeous
Oh,
picture. We're like, we don't know what that guy does, but he's
But
so
we
cool.
like him.
We want to be him.
Yeah. And that's the one was that the one where it was sort of like both Hanzo and Genji at the same time? It was sort of like
That's right.
a metallic version of Hanzo.
Yep.
It's so great that you guys have the opportunity to be able to say, let's just blow that out into two brothers.
Sure, yeah. One of the questions I have, as we're playing the beta and getting into it and learning all the characters and seeing who all of them are, because we are getting used to them, and I know you and I talked about this a little while ago, but is it possible to potentially, during gameplay, get a little toggle button so that I'm not looking at somebody's gamer tag and I can just see who the character is, especially as you're releasing skins?
We just saw that suggestion pop up on the subreddit, and I think it's killer. It's something that we want to look into more in general with the interface. We have a really great interface designer. His name is Jeremy Craig, and the way he wants to approach it is not to make like the WoW interface where it's completely customizable, but to try to figure out what things do we need to add a little bit more in the way of options for the players. So we've seen a lot of people, they want to see gamer tag. A lot of people want to see real ID. Other people said, I need to see the hero. And that's one of those ones where I think instead of trying to get inside your head, maybe we figure out an option.
Yeah, because if I just know this one is, just what the heroes are, as people continue to get used to all of these new heroes, you have 21 coming out at launch. So there's a lot for people to just sort of, take in.
Yeah, it's funny. We actually do that in all of the videos that we ever put out where we show gameplay. The characters are just named who they are. Like
exactly.
Torbjorn is just Torbjorn.
I like the idea of doing a toggle. That's really
just a toggle.
Yeah,
that way you still have the gamer tag and you don't lose it.
Yeah.
But just so that you know.
So we got another question from Twitter. This is from @thatshack. Can you tell us how you're going to address a ranked mode in Overwatch? So right now, the mode is go play.
Yep. So we've talked a lot about a ranked mode. We don't have anything specific at this point. We haven't done a ton of work on it. We've been doing preliminary design, and most of that revolves around our discussions with our friends on the Hearthstone team, the StarCraft team, and the Heroes of the Storm team. We're also talking to guys on World of Warcraft who are working on the arena. So we're trying to get a sense of what works really well, what hasn't worked for them in the past, and how we should pursue ranked mode with Overwatch. It's going to be a little bit more organic how it comes together. We're hoping to have something for launch in terms of ranked play, but if it doesn't, we don't have the perfect ranked mode, something we're not feeling comfortable with, it'll become a post-launch feature. But it's something we're actively discussing, and I think we have a lot of experience in the studio to help us make a good version of it.
Yeah, well, you have some deep connections to games that have been around for a while that you can pull from, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and you guys have had such a huge day, and congratulations to you and your entire team on everything Overwatch. Like, we can't wait to go home and just start playing it again.
We played it last night during our dinner break. I mean, that's how much this game.
Let's all group up tonight.
Done.
Love that. All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, Jeff and Bill, for joining us. We now have a World of Warcraft panel coming up at the top of the hour, and you may already be wondering what to expect when you go up against the upcoming expansion's deadly, all-powerful Burning Legion. Fortunately, there's a brand new hero class to help you take down this formidable foe. Let's check in with the team to learn a little more about your newest ally, the Demon Hunter.
I'm Tom Chilton, Game Director for World of Warcraft. Legion is really the deepest and most substantial World of Warcraft experience yet. So where we're going with the storyline for Legion is that we're picking up where Warlords of Draenor left off. What we have now is the continuing storyline that evolves after Gul'dan is sent through the portal that Archimonde used to come to Draenor. So what we see is Gul'dan gets sent to Azeroth, and it's in being sent to Azeroth that he goes and raises the Tomb of Sargeras, and he's able to bring the Legion to Azeroth once again. So the Demon Hunter is the second hero class that we're adding to the World of Warcraft, and really the fantasy behind the Demon Hunter is to be Illidan, essentially. He's just such a cool, iconic character. You know, he's kind of using that fell magic to make himself more powerful and really fight against the Legion. That's his, real mission in life, is to take on the Legion. And he does that by taking on the powers of the Legion. So the new artifact weapons are really significant for the World of Warcraft because we've had these iconic weapons that are just, really integral to the lore of the world and the overall storyline of Warcraft. Players are finally going to be able to get their hands on them. They've heard about them for a long time. They've seen some of them in the hands of other NPCs. Now they're finally going to experience those for themselves. A reason that it's such a significant part of this expansion is because from a story standpoint, the players really need to get these artifacts to have any chance of taking on the Burning Legion. But it goes beyond that, because from a gameplay standpoint, they really represent the first time that you've been able to get a weapon and then develop that specific weapon over time. So that you start off with a weapon that is very powerful, but has a lot of untapped potential. The class order halls in a lot of ways are very central to the artifact system, because the order halls are the place where you are rallying all the members of your character class. So if you imagine places like Akaros, where the Death Knights kind of all sort of assemble, this is something like that, but for every single character class in the game in a way that's very iconic to that class. So this is the place where you go in order to customize your artifact. It's the place where you go to rally your class to take on the Burning Legion. So I would say the Legion boasts one of the most significant changes to the player versus player combat that we've had since the Burning Crusade. And back in the Burning Crusade, we introduced the arena system, and that really represented a significant new thing for players to do. But now what we're doing is we're introducing a completely new version of the honor system. And what we've really seen is that the system is really, it's ready. It's ready for a fresh new take, for something that creates a completely new vector of progression, where a player is able to unlock the different talents in the new honor system in order to get abilities that are specific to PvP. And so this new talent system really enables us to do that. What we're really looking at here is a deeper set of gameplay features and a deeper set of gameplay content than what we've ever created before for an expansion. We really believe that that'll lead to a more fun version of World of Warcraft.